PDs, whichever one wants to go first.
Oh, thank you. Just a report on football. We ranked, moved into the rankings this week, up to number 10 at 5A. We won our last 4 games and playing really solid. We have a bye week this week, and then we move on to Cherokee and then move to a tough portion of the schedule with Boone, Tennessee High, and Morristown East. Staying healthy, staying away from COVID right now in that department, so things are looking up. Volleyball, I believe we are the 4th seed. Is that correct, Chris? We're the 4th seed, and the tournament starts in 2 weeks. We've shown a lot of improvements with the coaching staff, new coaching staff. Girls are working extremely hard, and we could be a dark horse in the tournament. Soccer, you know, we got hit with COVID. We reported back September 25th. Right now we're in a conditioning phase, get back on our feet before we start play. And we have Dobbins Bennett tomorrow night with senior night on Thursday. At the middle school level, things are still working pretty sound. We play TA Duggar this week, football, and soccer wraps up with 2 more games to finish the season out. We've been struggling a little bit, but the numbers are up at the middle school level. We have reports of about 65 kids out, so the numbers are there at the middle school level. I'll let him do your report, and then we can go on to this proposal that's brought forth to the committee.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Dan.
I'll be quick, Mr. Chairman. Middle school volleyball finished up this past Saturday. That's correct, isn't it, JW? That's correct. This past Saturday and we had 2 teams that moved on to a regional tournament. All three moved. So Grandview, Moose Creek won it. Ridgeview, Grandview, the other 2 moved on.
Sulphur Spring and Grandview.
Okay. Sulphur Springs.
We got 4.
4 moved on.
No, we didn't move on, we were 4.
Right.
We didn't move on.
Ridgeview, Grandview, Moose Creek moved on, correct?
I think so,
Yeah, moved on. So as far as I know, you guys can enlighten us a little bit. If things go fairly smooth for volleyball with you at the middle school level?
I didn't have any issue.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, everything go good at
Yep.
Moose Creek as well? That's good.
They're
Middle
playing
school
tonight.
what's
They're
that?
playing tonight.
Yeah. Middle school football, we've got 5 games left. They play tonight at Robinson and Kingsport. So things have gone fairly well at the middle school level. We've not had a lot of hiccups. At the high school level, our girls, big conference, Big 6 conference champs this year, are going to the district tournament as number 1 seed. So that's the first time we've been able to do that at the AAA level, which is great. Cross country boys and girls, right now they have the number 1 times in the region, both of them do. So the region meet is at Boone, October the 18th, I think that's correct. So, you know, football, we've got a pretty tough schedule early on this first part of the year. CAK is ranked number 2 in the state, 6-0, and private schools 2A. Greenville's is Greenville. We will have to get that win, but Elizabeth is ranked number 1 in 4A. Should have had that win, got a field goal block to win it. It played very well against Tennessee High and lost that one, just to be honest. That's the worst effort we've had at this point, but we're at a point in our schedule where we like where we're at now. We play Morristown East this Friday at home, so we're excited about that.
Was Friday a W or an L, or is it?
For us on the COVID with Dobbins Bennett, no, for when that happens, that they got a win, but we got a no contest.
Okay.
So
you don't go against us, don't?
Doesn't go against us, and you know, just for the record, talking with Dr. Flannery throughout the day, and Mr. Campbell, and Coach Eaton and myself, just wasn't real transparent with us on how many kids were infected and how many kids were in quarantine. We couldn't get the exact number answered, so we didn't feel comfortable within that 48-hour window putting our kids in that situation. You know, So we made the call, I guess most of you saw the press release that we sent out. You know, that's why we did what we did. So, but, you know, we're already right now preparing for winter sports as well. We're not even halfway through fall, so.
Josh, could you
I
elaborate?
will say this about cross-country. It's looking like that all 4 of our teams couldn't move on to the state. What I mean by that, Boone and Crockett, both boys and girls, could be participating in the state tournament together for the first time in school history.
That'd be great.
I mean, they've been several times, but our numbers are looking like we will qualify as well.
That'd be great.
We had a great run at Fender's Farm. It was tremendous support. So it's looking promising.
ADs, what kind of money is it gonna take to have all 4 of those teams go to Nashville for this state tournament?
I would want about 8,000 apiece. I would say 7,000 to 8,000 apiece.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive because, you know, we're used to in the past, you know, 2 kids can room together, then we're probably not going to be able to do it that way now. We might stay separate, so.
And when is it?
The state meet is the first weekend in November.
First weekend in November?
Yes, sir. I don't know the exact date, but look it up. The first Saturday, excuse me, in November.
Most of the time, it's the same time as the convention.
Yeah.
It's going to be expensive for sure.
The board will meet, if they get to go, the board will meet before the meet. That didn't come out, but that's how it came out. The board will meet before the runners go to the meet. So if the board wants to assist them financially, you'll have that opportunity.
With that being said, Doc, with that being said, Dr. I appreciate you bringing that up, because, you know, financially, of course, we all know, you know, we've been hit because of the capacity of the crowds. So, we're making it, but when that hit comes, you know, you get a $7,000–8,000 hit on you, this time of year, unexpectedly.
How bad has it been so far? Can you got any idea yet as far as financial numbers?
We've had 2 home games, and you know, it's been about $16,000. You know, most of the time, total. You know, Elizabeth, last time Elizabeth was at Boone, it was $16,000 itself. So, you know, so I will say, right now, we're at 50%, roughly.
Our last game against Sullivan Central was a little over $4,000. That's the worst I've seen since I've been here.
And how many home games have you had?
We've had 3. Our first game was right around $10,000, but past 2 have been relatively small. And then Cherokee coming up the fall break, going to be another small game. We will survive off the Musket Bowl.
At capacity right now, we can, you know, if the numbers line up like they're supposed to, we ought to do $8,400 a game, a home game, the way things sit right now. So we're close to selling out at that, you know, at that number, but.
Our volleyball, I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah, not just concessions, there's nothing there, it's just to give folks an opportunity to get something to wet the whistle, basically, you know, because you can't make food or anything like that, so there's no money to be made there. You know, probably what Josh can say, volleyball's been really good.
Tremendous.
Because
we're making $400–500 more.
Attendance has been great, and the action the board took to be honest with you, to cut the pass, I know it wasn't a popular thing, but it's been financial, it's helped offset some of the loss of football at this point.
That's great. Josh, can you elaborate a little bit about TWSAA and what was in the news several weeks ago, please? Just to
basically,
clarify.
we received a letter from the state. When we received that letter, an individual had contacted the state, which we all know who it was. You should have received it via email, which I rebutted back. It basically indicated to them that, you know, we have met with the director of schools, spoke with the school board, both ADs have met, we've met with regional health directors through Zoom throughout the past 3 or 4 months. Everything that we received, we implemented in place. We spent over $3,000–4,000 in thermometers, signage, cleaning supplies, everything that we would need to be successful through this COVID pandemic. And it's extremely difficult to monitor 1,200 people or even 500 people. And we're doing the best we can. So I contacted the state once we received that letter and asked them what exactly, you know, what were they saying that we did wrong, basically. And they told me that they send this letter out to pretty much everybody where they received the complaint. And I said, no, I want the specifics on what I need to work on. Is it the mask? Did somebody say something that they were not safe? And she told me she couldn't elaborate any more on that. So I talked to one of the assistant directors, and he told me, you know, about basically everything and how they handle it, and how they're gonna handle the TWSA Championship Series. And he told me to do the best I can do. So when he said that, it's extremely difficult when you know, we had a volleyball game. I asked the gentleman to put his mask on. Okay, he took it off. And he said, I'm not wearing the mask. And I said, well, you know, go social distance away from everybody if you're not gonna put it on. Because it was causing a scene. That's the only option I had, because you wanna handle, you know, crowd control. Well, he kept on and on. Then he started getting hostile with our gatekeepers. And then our gatekeepers started getting nervous. Finally, he walked on and put his mask off to the house, okay? Made a tell of himself. At the end of the, you know, end of the series, or end of the match, he come back and he said, wow, I'll show my butt, I'm sorry. But he said he had a health condition. I can't ask for their medical condition, or their, you know, the card, or what medical card. I don't have the authority to do that. And that's what everybody has indicated to me. So we're in a bad situation when it comes to doing those type of things.
As far as your last home game, how did it go compared? I mean,
They, you know, when we spread the word and we got through or hit up social media saying, you know, the mask mandate, I did a couple interviews with WGHL, just, you know, trying to promote the mask the best, you know, that we could possibly do it. And I felt like with our staff, we did a tremendous job, and I felt like the public responded, saying, you know, our product on the field to these kids, and if it's gonna be in our hands, then we must wear this mask. So I feel they did a pretty good job with that. You know, with that being said, the social distancing aspect of things is very difficult. I don't care where you are, I don't care if you're at a sporting event, I don't care if you're in school, I don't care if you're at a mall or a restaurant, you know. People got issues, you know, walk in, you're wearing your mask, you go sit down and you take off your mask. Well, I walk 3 feet, well, I don't understand.
right.
So, but I get those questions too. I go in a restaurant, and the school system to a restaurant's different, I get it, but that's what we're up against. But for the most part, we've gotten better.
Good, good. Okay, what, did you have something else you wanted to?
And in light of that, I wanted to bring to your attention, you know, Danny and I, it's hard to get employees to work right now. One, they don't like getting cussed out at the gate. I mean, you know, we got to do temperature checks, require everybody to wear their mask, and, you know, our gatekeepers take a lot, you know. And it's not, hey, how you doing? It's basically you're a piece of work, and they use other tools to work. With that being said, I'm afraid that we are gonna lose, you know, people to the amount of, once they see their check stub, how much they get. Basically, if you work 4 hours at a game, you're making about $28 after taxes. And I wouldn't do it. I don't think anybody in here would, unless you just love to run the gate, I don't think anybody would wanna make 28 bucks for 4 hours. So with that being said, the wage right now is $10.83. That's, and with the fixed rate, I believe it's about $1.72 extra. So after Danny and I talked, we would like to raise those wages up to $13. And I'm not sure if this needs to go to the finance, or I want to bring it to the athletic committee first.
Dr. Planner, what do you think?
There's no rule about which committee it should go through, but it just has to go to the full board at some point.
And
Nobody
that-
gets paid unless the board says so.
Yes, sir, sorry. And that money will come out of our athletic account. That's not gonna come out of a board's account.
Okay.
You know.
So basically, that money comes out of the money that's generated through the gate at each school, so it's not costing the board anything or the taxpayer. You know, it's, you know, we're down about 4 workers right now this fall at Boone, just because of concerned about exposure, for one, 2, concerned about the conflict that can occur, so.
They're getting taxed about 30%. So I had an individual make, I'm not gonna mention names, but made about $320 and she got $217. That's basically, you know, everybody's got to pay taxes, I get that, but I would like to raise the hourly wage, try to offset that cost.
Do you want to put that in form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Discussion?
So it's coming out of your athletic fund?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how they pay now, Keith, is through the money generated through the athletics, so.
Well, that needs to be advertised, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure how we.
Well, I mean, you know, just let the word out that, you know, we're gonna give our employees a little bit more money.
Gate workers,
Gate
maybe
workers and
the
stuff.
meeting, it could be stated in that manner, as
Yeah.
y'all's meeting.
Can you put that-
And it's not coming from us or anything, we just had to approve it.
Right.
And Jennifer said she'd word it
Yeah, I think I
in that type.
in that motion anyway,
I mean, we need to give everybody a raise, but, you know,
And we're talking what right now, how many people? Is that all sports, or is that just football?
That's just at the high school
At the-
level.
this
I
will be at
can't
the high
speak
school.
for-
Okay. I
I can't speak for the middle school at this point.
I don't think-
Is that all high school sports, or is that just
Yes.
football, or
That's just our gate workers.
Okay.
Period.
all high school.
all high school
Put it in the motion.
gate
We need to
workers?
put that in.
All high school workers,
Gate.
Gate workers.
gate workers receive $13 an hour.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you, and they will appreciate that, I know. They take it easy.
Still got to go to full board.
Right.
Right. Anything else y'all have? One thing's brought to my attention. Jason, you want to bring that up? You want me to, or
Which part?
on golf?
You can, well, I'll help.
Okay.
I know we talked about, we talked about it, I just don't remember.
Well,
the
there's
answer.
a couple ways we can do it. There's a reason why.
Yeah,
Jason brought to my attention about middle school golf for Grandview. I think they want to do a fundraiser, is that correct?
yeah, I was gonna look at, let me read this message.
Yeah, please.
So she asked me, basically in short, I want to have a golf team at Grandview. We have coaches that would like to coach and students that want to play. Josh says we don't have a middle school team. I was wondering how we go about getting that approved. I don't remember what we all talked about. I know we had a big
What I told her is
review.
we have to go in as a club, because we did not supplement that. So what Ridgeview does, they use that association and base them on a club organization, just like you would base FBLA or.
Yeah.
And on our supplemental package, it's pretty plain. New programs may be developed with the approval of the building principal, director of the schools. The sponsors of these approved programs will be compensated at a base supplement of $250 plus $5 per hour up to 100 hours.
So that would be a $750 supplement if you choose to go that much, correct?
Reoccurring.
Well,
But on this is just a club, right? Or this-
so it wouldn't be reoccurring.
That's
so,
what I'm
you
saying,
know,
this won't be.
If Jason was a golf coach and I'm his son, and he chose to do that through my years at middle school and had interest in, that it would, when he left and nobody picked it up, then it would be over. But
Right.
if we make a supplement now, it's gonna be recurring.
Do we have a coach?
We have people interested.
Yeah, she said they had
Yeah.
people wanting to coach, so.
I can't remember how they doing it at Ridgeview.
So
Just a club?
It's like a.
Just a club, right?
Cause it got into buses and all that, didn't
Well,
it?
so why don't we just let them have a club at Grandview?
That's basically what I'm saying, rather than a actual.
Yeah, no
supplemental.
supplement or anything like that.
They're just asking how or what,
We
or,
can still pay them under that
Didn't we
policy.
put that
Right.
on the budget? Didn't we have to put the golf team on the budget?
Are we paying at Ridgeview?
I don't know, Keith.
I don't think so.
believe we
I don't
are.
think we're paying anybody.
I don't remember
I don't
signing
think we
anything.
need to pay, because, if they wanna have a fundraiser, I don't really have a problem with them having a fundraiser if they wanna get something started.
I will get
But-
with Brad, or if you will, get with Brad let us know if Ridgeview is paying. Because I really don't want to,
Are you taking? Okay.
my opinion, I don't want to pay Ridgeview a supplement and not Grandview.
Yeah, I mean.
But if Ridgeview's not, then no.
No,
Then,
Mr. Chairman, I think, or no, Mr.
No, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, I think that money is a whole lot like the money that Josh just spoke about with the ticket takers. I mean, that money's generated through athletics, so it's not costing the
Okay.
board any money. Those funds can come through athletics to pay for that golf team, you
So
know,
it
or
come
that
out of
club.
your budget, is that what you're saying? You want it to come out of your budget?
From the golf team, yes.
from athletics is
From
what she's
athletics.
saying. Chad?
I know I'm not on this committee, but I know last year this came up about track across country in the middle schools. And, you know, they wore uniforms that said the school names, but they were a club. You know, if they're gonna wear the school colors or whatever, even north or south, why not just, I mean, there's some supplements on there, it's what, $300-400? Why, I mean, really, are we really fussing over $800 or, I mean, if you got people interested in it, they're not doing it for the money. There ain't nobody on that list right there doing it for the money.
The thing about it though, Chad, you're gonna get into the busing and stuff like that.
Well,
You
we
gotta
busing
get-
now.
Well, we're not either.
Did Lamar bus city kids, you know, when you had fall?
We didn't bust
Nobody
nothing
did.
on golf or
No.
anything like that, so we just left it up to them to get.
And they're wearing their school colors. I'd just say give them a supplement. I mean, like I said, I ain't on this committee, but I think it's ridiculous we just don't have a,
But the problem I have is we've kept this out of the budget for this year. We had to, this board, when we voted for our budget, we had to cut these golf supplements out.
and we never have been in there.
And so, no, we had to, they were on the wish list, as we call them, and we had to do away with those. And we've done away with those. So adding it in the middle of the year, I would just as soon wait to,
I mean, that was
Wait a minute.
$1,500.
So, but here's the thing, I don't know that anybody's asking for any money anyway. They just won't have a team. So, I mean, I'm with you, I know what you're saying, but really, I think all they want is permission to play golf. All I was hoping we'd do is implement exactly whatever we did for Ridgeview and let them follow the same protocol and, but I just don't know exactly what that was. 'Cause we have.
Danny, is middle school wise, is Ridgeview the only one on the north end?
No, it's, I mean,
My
keep it
knowledge,
simple,
yes.
but.
And South End, we
Springs
do
did
not
at
have
one
nothing.
time, but it was before Cody's time, they had a team, because the Brandon girls is senior at Boone now, her dad did the same thing when they came through Sulphur Springs.
yeah, I remember
But-
that.
Yeah, but I don't think they do now.
Did we,
And two,
When I was at Grandview, we did have a golf team at Grandview, but it was a club-sponsored deal. And the reason we didn't do a school team is because there wasn't enough wanting to participate, and you didn't create that reoccurring. The parent just said, I'll be the coach, and they actually combined with a couple other schools, so they had enough to be a team. And they did kind of like we do with football, one side team, other side team, so they could have a team competition. Because if you just have one or two at the school, you don't have enough to compete.
A club can set up a restricted account through the bookkeeper.
Was there any compensation paid to your knowledge?
Mr.
Not-
Chairman.
Not that I'm aware of.
It was 2014, we had a student teacher at Crockett that was also a golfer. Came out of college, and he wanted to bring golf, middle school golf in this area. Well, he had a connection through the Ridges, and they would let him play free on there. So he got basically, with the middle schools on the south side, asked if we wanted any golfers to participate in that, which they went on, and we were, at the time, we could be a part of the Tennessee Middle School Secondary Association. But Ridgeview, they go through, I'm not sure what that organization is.
There's a youth golf league,
Yeah.
and they sign up as individuals. We had it set up originally through just a club, and they had a restricted account. We did a golf tournament at Ridgeview for several years, and pretty much they funded themselves through that club.
On your fundraiser, did you have to have,
Just, it's the same as if, you know, any club is fundraising for themselves.
okay,
But
What
they,
was that on that sheet?
the support was not paid to the teacher who was doing you know, coaching, they were doing it on their honor. Any money raised was generated going to the kids, like if they were transferred, like they got to go play at the Virginian one time, stuff like that. It was all club-based, and that way it was all spent on kids.
Do what, Josh?
We're saying on that sheet that the principal has the authority
Right.
to issue a supplement, so we're already offering an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the principal and the director. So, is that something we have to make a motion on, or is it just left
No,
up?
it's just- We just do it. It's, the policy lets us do it internally. I've never done it.
Jason, you want,
That's all I was gonna say, can we not just
I think
send
without,
the word that they can
Right.
do, and can we give them a diagram, here's what we did at Ridgeview?
yeah,
Y'all
if you
do
get
the
with
same
Danny,
thing.
Danny can kind of give you an outlay, if you will, Dan.
Yeah,
Just kind of what Ridgeview does.
I'll find out how they're doing it, how they do it over there, but Mr. Chairman, I think it's really spelled out. I mean,
Right.
if Cody wants to have a golf team at Sulphur Springs, and he wants to pay up through his athletic funds that he has, or fundraise up to $750, legally so, he can do that, it's already in place. So how each school does it, I think could differ. If Grandview wanted to do this and pay up to that amount of money, they could. If they had a coach who wanted to do it for free, they can do it that way as well. Each school has to do it what fits their needs the best. I think that's the reason it's spelled out that way. Dr. Flannery, is that correct? Or?
Yeah, but Brad says we're not currently paying anybody
No.
below high school for any golf at all.
Okay.
Same way with the high school boys volleyball we do in the spring. It's a club. So we'll pay them X dollars out of the high school monies, $500 actually, and it's a club sport. So it doesn't have to come front board.
Right.
Can maybe Josh get with Tara and let
I'll
her
get
know?
with Ms. Churchwell, and I've already told her we'll
Probably
get,
don't know.
yeah, I talked to her, and,
You can take care of that, Josh?
yeah.
And I'll take care of how they're compensating over there, and I'll get that to Josh.
Yeah.
Now,
That'd be good.
I've got to check on the golf course. I think that's the holdup, I don't know through that association if they have connections through the local golf course, because we go through Graysboro,
Could your high school coach assist with that a little bit?
and they would love to. Coach Pettit, I know, I'm sure Danny's people would love to. That's the only way we can get better.
Right.
We build
Right.
that middle school.
Right.
There is a couple other things I'm circulating my brain about some other things I need to mention real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready. Esports.
Jason, you're good with that?
Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
I'll give, esports is on the rise, electronic sports, and I've been approached by, Milligan, they've got a EA Sports team. I believe ETSU's about to create an EA Sports team, and the reason why I mentioned this is because it will fall along the lines of a club sport. And they contacted me on Friday, and now they're doing grants to try to help out. So basically, there's a lot of scholarship money about to be in the esports. So I'll get the information out of Danny when I've talked about it, and we can bring it to the next committee.
Okay.
But it is coming about for you guys to look at. Another one will be lacrosse. Been approached by that. I know Science Hill, Dobbs Bennett, their numbers are extremely high. They're gonna be looking, as a club sport as well. And they will more than likely, I'm assuming, be endorsed by the TSSAA in the next couple of years.
2021, 22 is what we're looking
Lacrosse in Washington County.
So that's coming about.
at. We had turf.
Just to mention those things.
There you go.
Just put the bug in your ear. Thank you.
Anybody got anything else? Dan?
Just something for us to be thinking about. We got winter sports is upon us sooner than later, but we get to October, it's rolling, so, I guess we gotta start thinking about capacity at those events. We kind of have an idea at the high school, middle school is probably something else we need to address. I don't know if you're gonna keep it like it is volleyball, if we're gonna open it up just a little bit more or not, but that's probably something that we might need to start getting together on with middle school principals and deciding what you folks might want to do when that time rolls around. First games,
Some of us
November.
have talked about capacity. If we keep to the capacity, like South Central can only have 88 families sitting in with social distance. I know Paul Branch, I think it's like 20 or 30
South Central and Fall Branch, the smaller schools, the capacities are so low, we may have to,
Our capacity is 38 families.
okay,
What's the-
38 and 88 and 28.
38?
If everybody is 6 feet apart in all directions, we can only hold 38 families. Now, that could be 38 families of 4 and be 6 feet apart, but we have 38 X's where they sit 6 feet apart.
But the thing about it is, they're not sitting 6 feet apart.
They're not sitting there. I tell them at the gate when they come in, please find an X to sit, and then I can't be two places at once, monitoring gate and going, and they don't follow guidelines, but we say the guidelines when they enter.
How many seats, I mean, how many, bodies can your gym hold at Sulphur Springs?
Bodies, I'm not exactly sure on bodies. We don't have a capacity mark on the gym. And it's
Well,
not-
it should, I mean, how many kids is out there?
How many kids do we have in the
How many
building?
kids is in that school?
340.
340? So,
Most gyms were built to hold the capacity of student body, is that what you get at?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
probably
I'm-
650 or so.
Is that, Dr. Flannery?
Uh-huh.
50%?
Where are we at on, I know we talked about this over and over and over and over, I can't remember. The health department,
Governor's executive order has not been rescinded. It's still at 50.
so it's
Thank you.
6 foot. I guess what I'm getting at is we're getting ready to go back to school here in a couple of weeks. Right?
But, right, TSSAA rules and the governor's executive order is two different things.
Yeah, so what is the rule, I guess is my question. What is our rule right now?
We'd have to go by TSS and TMSS rule, oh, shoot. They gave the ADs the flexibility
Yeah.
of going like, oh, help me guys, 30% to 50.
33%, but
A third capacity, I thought is what I read.
Quarter or third is what the
Yeah, that,
recommendation
yeah.
was.
like
1/4
Dalton's
to
been in high
1/3.
school, they're a little over 50%.
So we have the ability to go to 50%.
No,
Yes.
we
Do
do.
whatever we
Nobody's-
want.
Our health department has yet to contact trace any infection back to a Washington County athletic event. So I think what, if 50%, do it.
I think we ought to make a motion to raise it 50%.
Effective when?
Well, you don't need to because they all, well, no, what, I don't know
Is it
that you
up
can
to
go
them?
past TSSAA rules.
Well, that's recommendations.
Yeah.
TSSAA says you can go back to your local authorities, so to speak. So with that being said, the governor's, so he says 50%.
All right, so a
I think
motion
we
would
can
be
go to
proper.
that.
A motion would be proper.
So I'd like to make a motion, we go to 50% capacity for all fall sports.
Mr. Chairman, while you are an ex officio member of every committee, it would be better if one of the standing committee members made the motion.
Okay, I'll back off that.
That would
Hope
be-
somebody else will make that motion. How's that?
Mr. Riddle, Ms. Buchanan, Mr. Irvin, the two ADs, Cody Patterson and John McKinney can vote.
I'll make a motion, they go to 50% capacity for all sports.
We got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
That was for all?
All schools.
All schools, fall
All
sports.
schools, all fall sports.
So I have another question about that. Or do we have to mark our seats for 6 foot apart? Because my understanding with everything I've read is either 6 foot apart or masked on. It's not both.
Well, they're marked right now at the volleyball games,
But
but
nobody pays attention to them?
No,
What you're
you-
saying?
nothing
Well, I
you can do
can-
about
I'm
it.
looking at
Did you
your
say the
face.
key?
No, what- no,
That you-
okay.
no, I mean,
That's
some
a-
people respect it, some people don't even wear a mask. I mean,
Well, I mean, look at the kids. Look at the volleyball games we've been to. Kids ain't sitting 6 foot apart.
you know, and I mean, there's no way to police that.
You can't.
You
So
can
it's just
tell
like
them,
normal.
Yeah.
you tell them, and if they don't do it, they don't do it.
But mask usage is pretty well done.
We put a price on
I
football.
mean, there's some that don't.
But,
And some people's real good about, they don't wear masks, but they get way away.
right.
So, I mean, you got some people, I think, that are trying, and some people don't care. But I mean, it ain't gonna change anything.
So, but my question is pertaining to TSSAA. Because our goal is to keep their seasons together. That's what our goal is. So I was asking if they had to do the X's and stuff, because if they don't, it's either, 6 foot apart or mask on.
Danny, Josh, can either one of you answer that question?
Sorry, go ahead.
They don't know, they're talking amongst themselves back there.
Annette wants to know if TWSAA is mandatory that you mark a seat.
No, sir. No,
So
ma'am.
we could just put it out there, either social
6 feet.
distance or put your mask on.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
what we've
think
been
that's the
doing.
signage we've got up everywhere, that's what it states. I know it doesn't, on the north side, that's what it states. It's what the announcements are made, it's what the recommendations are. And like Jason said, I mean, if Johnny and Susie follow it, they follow it. If they don't, there's not a whole lot. I can't
But we
make,
can be shut down if Johnny and Susie don't follow it. Is that what we're saying?
we can't be shut down by who?
By TWSAA?
No.
They
This
don't
way they don't have
have
the authority.
They give us the authority.
They don't have the authority.
That's their
We
recommendation.
just keep
That's,
passing
they
it
got,
around, so.
them two right there got the
Okay,
authority.
we
Keith?
just keep passing it around, so
Yeah.
I mean.
I got something else I wanna bring up.
Okay, wait, we got a motion and a second.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
I got,
So-
where can we find, instead of just me coming up with a capacity, where could I find my full capacity? Would that be on a 501? Where would capacity be listed where we could say, this is where I got my 50% number? Instead of me making a number up.
3 foot,
You
3
got like
foot.
your student body, can't you, Danny?
Yeah, I'll help you with that. I'll
Okay.
get Mr. Patrick, and
That's fine.
that's somewhere.
I
We
know-
have
I know-
it somewhere.
I know in
600
some
kids in
buildings
Silver
it's on the
Springs.
wall, but I haven't been able to look.
Yeah, I understand. I'll help.
3.5 foot, body 3.5 foot.
It's not that much.
No, it's 20-some inches, 20,
I just, when I'm asked, I just wanna be able to say, this is where I got my number.
Absolutely.
yeah. I'll help you. We'll get that fall break next week.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The only other question I may have is if this passes what's on the floor, and it will not go into effect until it comes from the full board, so it will not go into effect until roughly, if it passed there Friday morning.
Correct,
Just because it affects Josh and I for Friday, because we have home games, that's what we were discussing.
correct.
It'd be hard for us to make any changes at this point until the full
The following.
board passes it Friday or Thursday night.
Right.
So we'll set we'll probably leave it alone until it starts next week, just because it'd be difficult to get out to everybody Friday
Yeah,
morning.
short
if
time.
You got home games?
We both do. You do too?
No, I'm on a
Oh,
bye.
I'm sorry.
I'll be going next week.
We're at home, but we'll probably be sold out by then, so.
What I was thinking about middle school game on Thursday, it's gonna be over at Grandview, so that would,
But we won't know till Thursday
well, that's what
night.
I'm saying, so we have to maintain our.
That's all I, that's the clarification.
No problem.
He can do what he
Thank
wants.
you.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, Keith?
ADs, how bad is the clocks and scoreboards at middle schools?
We all, besides, I guess, Boones Creek, Grandview, and Ridgeview, I know Lamar needs 58 bulbs replaced, and basically, when we call the company, they tell me to go look on eBay, because they don't sell those bulbs anymore.
So we're not having their, Pepsi don't do that anymore?
Not in the contract anymore, the new contract.
Yeah, they don't do scoreboards. Now, they get us an allotment of money, which I think is $5,000. They don't work on them.
What do we do with that $5,000?
Have we used
You
it
can
this
use-
year?
What?
Have we used that,
Used this year.
the money this year for anything for scoreboards that we get from
Well,
Pepsi?
it's better die.
Not this year.
So we got it?
Yeah, but we're,
Is that plus the money that comes out of the machines in the school? Or now, where does that money go? Any
If I
idea?
understand the contract correctly, it goes back to where it was generated at. So, wherever that money was generated at, they get, Crockett sells X number of cases, per case, they generate that money, it goes back to their school.
And the board
In
gets
Sulphur
some, we
Springs,
get so much. in
South
free
So it's
will.
just, it's split up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot
If
of.
I
it.
understand.
it doesn't go in a restricted account, it goes into general.
Some of it does.
The restricted account?
Yes, state law allows, if there's a machine in the teacher's lounge, then that money can go straight toward a support of like a flower fund for teachers. That's the only exception.
So you got Lamar on the south side, you got Lamar, South Central, Westview.
Yeah, I mean,
Scoreboards.
the thing about it is, Lamar has 2 scoreboards, so, I mean, right there, $6,000, just for the base scoreboard.
Let me ask you a question.
Sulphur Springs, Paul Branch, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, this probably is relevant, or sort of relevant. but-
So 3 on the south side and Danny, 3 on the
Same, yeah,
north.
Sulphur Springs,
Paul
Paul
Branch.
Branch, great.
How bad was those scoreboards at Boone's Creek when we closed down?
They were bad.
I mean, they old, I didn't
They're
know.
just like the rest of them we're talking
I
about.
mean, basically, we need to go, and I'll just be blunt about it, we need to go LED. Because those bulbs are no longer
That's what I'm
able
saying.
to be purchased.
Somebody's got their own book.
Can you all give us some cost estimates by next board meeting?
We need to find
I've got
out.
them right, yeah. I'm ready for you.
Could have them for your board meeting
We got
Thursday?
everything we need to-
Yes, for Thursday.
Yes,
Somewhere.
I'm ready for you.
Josh, will take care of that?
Yep, I got
Just
it.
let him do it, he's got it.
2 at each school?
You better let me-
Yes, have to,
We're looking, I'll just be honest with you, roughly about $3,000 for a base, that's for one board.
You're gonna have the money this year to do this.
Well,
Unless
I-
it just flies to pieces, you're gonna have some, a bunch of fund balance.
Well, I'm not, I'm wanting to use the money that we got from Pepsi.
It won't go very far.
Well, I mean, you know, we can.
You're talking about
if
5,000.
I wanna use the money that, whatever the contract is. I cannot remember that number. I was thinking it was we was getting 30,000.
I remember when we switched,
You remember?
but Coke was up
Yeah.
there.
So how much are we getting from Pepsi? I can't get that number in my head.
It's $5,000, I believe.
No, it's more than that.
Danny?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that what money we have in that account for this calendar school year, that we replace the scoreboards at the gym at Lamar with those funds that are available there.
Well, I wanna do one on
Just-
this side and one on the other side. I don't care.
How much are they?
All right, we got a motion.
$3,500.
We got a motion, we have a second.
I second it,
All
but I.
right, now discussion, go ahead, Keith.
I wanna do one on this side of the county and one on the other side of the county. And let's get them fixed and get them replaced. That way the bulbs work.
Before the
Now,
season.
yeah, well, the season's gonna start in 6
I would like
weeks.
to make a motion that,
Wait a minute, we got a motion on the table.
sorry,
So, I mean, we may not even get them,
That's true.
how long it's gonna take to get them.
We can get the machine,
And
we
then-
can get the board.
Okay,
Made
so
in China, you
we
won't
need
get them.
That's right.
documentary.
Dr. Farron.
Uh-huh.
Could Mr. Patrick go take a look at Boone's Creek, because Cody seems to think they bought a new digital one, is that what you said?
I just thought they were updated.
For the
last
old
time.
schools?
From the middle school, that they bought one,
I don't know if they bought it.
he don't know, he thinks they have a digital one, and I would just like somebody to check on it. It may not even be right, but if it's there and it's digital, that would be a good move for
I'll
us.
find out. What they'll do.
Jason?
I just wanna know, Josh and Danny, how much is a scoreboard?
$3,000 for your base scoreboard.
Rough.
You need 2 per school?
Yeah, about $6,000 per school, so there's 3 schools on each team, each size 18, it's $36,000.
Brad says it's $6,000.
See,
And he says we spent it last year, but we have yet to spend it this year.
40 grand, bro.
Well,
we didn't
but
talk
don't
about
you
how
remember,
much
we
we
got
got.
so much from
Over
Coca-Cola?
I don't.
It was up to
That
$30,000
money's here,
range.
that money's down here, and we don't get.
He's
When
I'm
see
so
that.
old and forgetful, I'm sorry.
I remember the meeting, Keith, but I don't
Yeah.
remember the numbers.
You know, that was,
I think we get money for scholarships.
okay.
Josh, did you,
I would like to, to amend it and say that whichever schools do not have LED boards, we purchase them a new board.
I got an amendment to Keith's motion, do I have a second?
Well, you have to repeat the amendment.
Whichever board do not have LED lighting, updated LED lighting, that's the ones we need to replace.
First.
We're
First.
just talking about middle school, is that what we're
Yes.
talking about? Okay, I'll second that one too.
Well, there's nothing wrong with their high schools, right?
Well, they're LED.
Okay, because I know we bought them. So
And,
all the new
yeah.
boards is LEDs,
Yes.
High school.
and we can get parts. They can be fixed.
Yeah, anything.
The board
And then-
has The
Because I
board
don't want no
has.
junk, I want
no,
something that will,
that
can be
we haven't
fixed.
spent on our trip to Nashville, it's been canceled.
Right.
That's a big chunk of money right there.
Right.
I mean, that could cover this, because it's not going to be used this year.
Yeah, my thought is, since we're in discussion, you're talking 36,000 for everything, roughly, Danny, Josh?
Roughly, yes.
I mean, I'd soon just replace them all rather than one on each side.
Well, I know
If
it's
we
a-
got the money, like Dr. Flanger said, if we've got the money, let's go ahead and replace them while we're doing it.
Hey, what if we, go ahead, Mark.
I just, the thing about it is, I just don't wanna, you know,
I agree with you.
I
don't-
understand, but we, I mean, as a board, we have money that is normally spent
Exactly.
on us that we go to do our professional development. And at this point,
We're not using
we
it
could
this year.
gift this to the school.
Whitney?
Is there any way we could look into the Pepsi money like he's talking about there
He
and find
did.
out?
He's going to.
You're going to?
It's
It's
So-
not been spent yet.
It's 6,000.
6,000.
Okay, so could we use that and then supplement
Right.
the rest out of our board money?
Well, that's what they, yeah.
Okay.
Jason?
Okay, so, with all that said, can Josh and Danny, if we need to get on this, we need to get on with it. Can we have?
I pulled it up there.
Right there.
Okay, well, I guess what my thing was, can you all by our Thursday meeting, find out exactly what we need?
Yeah.
Can this group take something to the full board and we vote on it Thursday so we can get them on?
If you can
Yeah.
get that to
I'll
us.
just send my guy a message right now to get me a quote. So I'll have one maybe tonight or tomorrow.
And you'll tell us exactly how many we need?
Yes, sir.
Josh will tell us exactly how many.
I want to purchase the best board for the money. Josh's deal or Danny's deal, whoever.
Right, we both use the same bid, it's two different salesmen, but we'll
Okay.
price check,
Alright,
we have to.
All right, we have an amendment to the motion,
better be the same.
which is
You know what I'm
to
saying?
replace scoreboards that need it most.
Wait a minute, don't we have to vote on that first amendment?
This is the amendment. Josh's amendment was to replace just the ones that's in worst condition.
That don't have the LED.
That
They don't have the LED.
So I seconded that,
And you seconded it.
yes.
All in favor, say aye. Now, keep in mind too, you're voting on just replacing those, but we discussed replacing them all.
We'll
Not
make that
just
another
those.
motion, right?
Well, we've got to.
Does somebody have
vote on
LED
that.
in the middle school?
Those come from Boone's Creek right there. These are the two boards.
Well,
that
we
were
don't
purchased.
need to replace Boone's Creek.
Yeah, right, those were just
Just
purchased.
do them all. One on each side.
Josh's amendment said the ones that did not have LED.
LED lights.
Okay, that's what I thought he
That's
said.
just a price of what they gonna be.
I wouldn't think it would.
His amendment to the motion is just replace the worst ones with LED. That does not have LED, right?
That is
Does
correct.
not have
Okay,
LED.
that does not have
But
LED.
we're looking to replace them all.
Right.
So we don't.
Well, Boone's Creek, these are Boone's Creek boards with the
The
new
ones that
school.
need it.
They're less than 1 or a year old.
Right. Everybody understand the amendment? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, now we can vote on the amendment as the motion was stated. And the motion was to replace Lamar's school board with LED.
With the funds that are available.
With,
Provided by Pepsi. No,
did you?
He
Okay,
had
yes,
that,
I'm
he
sorry,
had
yes.
that in there.
Everybody understand Keith's motion as amended?
I wanna ask a question, where are they coming from, do you know?
Those are from BSN Sports.
I know, but where is
I'll be
the-
Texas,
Okay.
maybe, I don't know, I can't remember whether,
That's what their PO box is.
I don't know.
Well, they're
whether-
charging $650 freight
Yeah.
for 2 boards.
But you may be able to get them cheaper.
Here's the thing, if we order in bulk, we're gonna get that price down.
Right.
But if we go over $10,000, we're gonna have it bid it out, right? So
Well, can we not run them first?
Unless
go?
it's on a state-approved contract.
and not have to do it.
What if I order
Correct.
mine on my side with a different rep and he orders his on his side with a different rep?
Keep it under
No,
10.
no, if the board's buying them, you can't split a PO, we'll get written up in a heartbeat.
Even with the Pepsi,
Well, if it's 36 minus
It
6,
don't
that's still
matter, I mean,
30.
if you buy 10 with the same purchase order, and you can't split you can't get around it.
right, nice.
The auditors
I wonder
will
if
catch
that,
you.
So
I
we'll
wonder
get
if
it
that
done for
state
basketball.
board,
All we gotta do, we gotta do.
Buy board.
You gotta figure scoreboards are under contract somewhere.
Yeah.
You'd think it
Schools
would
buy a
be.
lot of scoreboards.
Well, it is
That will
there.
absolutely be researched upstairs before a dime is spent.
Okay, we have a amended motion on the table. We're up for vote. Replace Lamar's two scoreboards with LED.
Well, wait a minute, I wanna drop that motion if you want to do everything.
His amendment
His
that
amendment.
you approve takes care of that.
So the actual motion now is Lamar's two scoreboards with the Pepsi money and all the ones that don't have LED lights.
Right.
Can I go one more time? Before, Dr. Flannery, so you're telling me we can't make a motion per school
Sure you can.
and buy them
Start calling him.
without bidding them out?
The schools can, yes, sir, that's what I'm telling you. If you try to split those POs out, the auditors will write you up in a heartbeat.
Well,
Yes, sir.
what's different purchases?
No, it's not.
It's going around.
If you, how many you gonna buy?
I don't know, they ain't told me.
Let's say you're buying 6, and let's say you wrote 6 Washington County purchase orders. The auditors would write you up.
All right, can the school buy their own scoreboard
Sure they can.
individually,
Yes, they can.
and we can reimburse them
Yes, you can.
without having to get bids?
That is true.
That's what we need to do.
You may
No,
get
because
lucky.
I think we could buy, if we're gonna go out here and buy 10
Well, we're
scoreboards,
still gonna get them,
but
what
we're
I'm
gonna buy
saying is
10 at a time.
We need them this year. We're gonna buy 10 at a
But
time.
if they're on
Each
buy
But
school.
board-
you're saying each school's gonna do it.
That's right.
Give their discount.
But if they're on buy board,
Right.
We
You
may
can't-
not pay nothing on my board.
I thought that was old stuff.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just throwing that out there, but you see what I'm trying to get around is,
I do.
we need them now.
Right.
So, however
If
y'all
we have to
do
bid
it.
them out, we won't get them back to Christmas.
Do the
Yeah,
middle
we
schools
can't
have
get
that
them
type
out.
of money though to support two boards? I mean, I'm just asking. Cody, JW. I mean, do you have $6,000 in your account to support these
Yeah,
boards
that
and
would
then be
probably drain
reimbursed?
Right,
We won't give it
look,
back.
that's small.
Do you hear him?
Could
We're gonna
they write
reimburse
us a
it, though.
check
He
like
said
we did for the
that-
coffee
yes, but that would
machine
probably-
and the phone bill?
Be it.
I think ours are already LED, so I don't know that we need them. I'll have to look, but I just pulled up a picture and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are.
And that's something Danny can check on,
Yeah.
to see exactly how many on the north side. All right, we have a motion as amended up for vote. Jennifer, you wanna read it one more time, or?
I can. And the motion was to replace Lamar's scoreboard with the Pepsi money, and for all schools that do not have updated LED lighting, middle schools, that is, to be replaced.
Everybody understand that? All right, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Do what, Josh?
I'm still a little bit uncomfortable about something because I'm sitting here thinking Grandview and Ridgeview, when did they open up? 2008?
13 years ago.
So, man, I mean, you're looking at 13 years of scoreboard use. I mean, if we got the opportunity to go and move forward with this now, I would,
Are they LED?
I believe they were put in LED, but they're 13 years old. I might have jumped the gun a little too early. If we're really considering purchasing these boards now, those are 13-year-old boards. If we could get the money, I'd like to go ahead and try to replace all of them.
Well, when you bring us the numbers
Okay.
Thursday night, check into it, and just, we'll bring it
I'll give,
before
we'll,
the
give
full
you the age,
board.
we'll give you the age of the board.
Right.
My question would be, do they really need to replace it though?
Yes.
or what kind of condition they're in.
That's
If they're in
right. If they
good
don't need to be
condition,
replaced, we don't need to do it.
Just because
I'm
we're
just
doing the
trying to
other.
fix the ones that we can't get parts for.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to
The
do.
average scoreboard's life expectancy, according to McGregor, we purchased a board to baseball, and it was roughly about 7 years ago. The guy told me it was about 10 years.
Well, now, he's wrong, because them things that's hanging at Lamar
Well, we may get lucky, but
or the Mercy.
The ones like the South Single, the ones that were there,
Yeah.
what schools did.
Yeah,
Same as
Well, I mean, my personal opinion is let's replace the ones that need it.
Right.
right there's a man that can tell us how long they've been hanging. There's Philip, he knows how long they've been.
Scoreboards in the middle school, you know about the age of them, as far as
Grandview and Ridgeview?
in Lamar, South
Lamar, South
Oh,
Central.
North, South Central, I wouldn't have a clue. But, you know, Grandview and Ridgeview, since we opened them,
Central.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
you know,
But you take,
and none of those are LED.
they are not LED then.
there you
So
go.
that's, so that would cover them underneath the motion because of LEDs.
Pretty much every school you got, but it's Creek.
Boots Creek's the only one's LED though.
Well, in the high schools maybe.
Besides the high school.
Yeah, your high schools are,
Motion didn't say inside or out.
Boots Creek inside, yeah, the ones in the, yeah, in the gym are LED, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Only other thing I've got, just for future reference to start thinking about, it was brought to my attention that I think Danny was telling me, when we went to Tennessee High to play football this year, all the tickets was electronic. There was no cash involved. And I'd like to maybe look into that across the board. Less cash, but still accept cash for the ones that don't use debit credits, and be able to use a debit credit card at the gate to coming in. I've had Brad start running some numbers and just see what kind of cost analysis it would be. But I guess my thought is, if we can implement this and everybody's in agreement, that we start using credit cards instead of cash at the gates.
Heck, I'd love that.
There's not a whole lot of people carries cash in their pocket no more, and I think our gate and our concessions funds would rise. Well, a little bit I've seen, everything's given to you as far as iPads, the Square, if that's what they use, and so forth, so.
And
But-
make sure Wi-Fi is available out there at the football field,
Yes,
and the
yes.
baseball fields.
That's what.
It is.
Is there a
Mr.
charge?
Chairman.
Do they
I don't know,
charge
that's what
back?
Brad,
Yes.
that's what Brad's checking on, I don't know.
Square is 2.8 for every slot.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
got the parts ordered.
And it may not be Square, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm
For both.
just, 2.8 for every slot. They have a new, system now you can purchase for $299, and it's a little box. It'll print a receipt, it'll take the card, it'll swap the card, and you can actually put your cash in there also so that you know that you are getting your money.
I know what little bit I know about it. On a ball game Friday night, electronic tickets, all the money's deposited in the account by Saturday morning.
No.
So, it's not, I mean,
We're
that's,
using GoFan right now, Mr. Chairman.
yeah, and that's what I was,
It takes a week to get the money.
oh, okay, so it's not deposited next morning.
And the system, if we go with the credit debit card system through GoFan, I believe it's about $3,500, no more than $3,500 for the setup.
See,
Now, the GoFundMe, just, ordering your tickets through their website's free. And if you purchase a $7 ticket, it's gonna run you about $8.
Right now, I know there's an increase in ticket price, so.
Right. See, I think that's a better deal than our Square, because
Oh,
that
and that's what I meant by
is
that.
consistent with everybody in the
Right.
region.
But I'd like to see all of our schools do it, not just the high school.
Well, I think the system is right around $3,000 for they give you the GoFund fans, they give you the.
Is that
credit
per
card
school or the whole package for every school?
That will be per school. So it would cost us $6,000 for you guys. Now, we've looked through the bank, through Verizon up here, and we can purchase the machine for $500, and then there's I think a 1.9% on each transaction, and then I believe we have to pay a fee of about $15 a month. And it wires directly to the bank, First Horizon.
That's cheaper though than the, you know, you said the $8.32 for
Yeah.
a ticket.
Right.
And that's $1.32 for losing.
I think it's only, you're looking at a quarter through the bank. But
Yes,
the,
what'd you say in that one?
the customer has to pay.
1.8% through Square or
No,
something like
For
that?
Square, it's 2.8%.
2.8.
But there's no fee for anything else. See, you have to, with that, once you buy your terminal or whatever you're using, there's no more fees for that.
Okay.
But we don't assume, we don't take that price that the customer has to pay.
Right. And I'm just, I mean, like I said, that's just something I've had Brad check into. It's early, but.
The customer is paying the fee instead of
Correct.
the school, which is a better deal.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good
It-
$3,000-4,000 a year.
Mhm. I just think that it'll increase.
I think the concession stands would benefit from it
Yes.
the most.
Yes.
Yeah, Josh, you and I talked about this for years,
Yeah.
because they want something like this for their T-shirt sales, and they want it in concession stands, and we've, you know, pushed it back and forth, but they just can't figure out how to slide it into the right number on the
Listen,
budget sheet.
It'd be more efficient for a bookkeeper when she's getting, you know, Monday morning, she's getting, you know, 800 ones, count them every one.
Right.
You know, eliminate that.
Well, I'm hoping I'll have some more hardcore numbers from Brad here in the next week or two, so I'll share with you.
The Go fan, though, you're right, is the way of
I
Madison
think,
sports,
yes,
sports you get.
That's
because
what,
it's consistent across the region.
yes.
And our first time will be this Friday. got
So
the
we are
link-
using
we got the
GoFan
link
this
set up-
Friday?
We got the link set up today,
So maybe you can shed some more light on it.
hopefully.
Would that be consent we could bring to the committee to pay for it?
Yeah,
Process.
I think so, yes, yes. Danny?
I have to, just to revert back to earlier about the golf, I've got some information from the middle school principal at Ridgeview. The golf coach at Ridgeview is not paid, not compensated. They weren't last year, volunteer basis.
Okay.
That's where that's at.
Anything else?